Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Johann Pluy, and I'm the Managing Director of the ÖBB Business Competence Center. The Business Competence Center is responsible for IT services, accounting services, human resources, procurement, security within the ÖBB group. Many of you are wondering why a railway company is here at this developers conference. I hope in 25 minutes you know our mission here. If you have detailed questions or detailed information from our colleagues, please join our hub outside. But let me first start with a common mistake. A common mistake and a wrong picture is that a railway company consists of loco drivers, dispatchers, conductors, managers, and the informed community know that we have a lot of civil engineers for maintenance and for constructing new lines. In the present and in the future, we have a lot of other professions. We have more than 800 people in our IT services, with more than 600 people in our telecommunication service, with more than 500 people in the electrical service, and so on and so on. Because the railway undertakings are developing into a service company on the one side and into a tech company on the other side. Because with a different development, we couldn't meet the challenges of our future. Small facts. ÖBB is the biggest transport company within Austria. We transport more than 450 million passengers a year. We transport more than 100 million tons of goods a year, a number you couldn't imagine. You should use your calculator and divide it by a typical truck capacity. We operate more than 6,500 trains a day. We have a staff of 40,000 people. So we are, for Austrian relations, a real big company, and we earn also more than 6 billion euros a year. The right column, the IT column, read it for yourself. It's for our size big and very complex. And the biggest problem we have is this. Our company is very old. We have a DNA of 178 years. This is the age of the Austrian railway system. And show me a company, with exception of some banks or some other institutions, with this age. But this company with 178 years DNA and with a legacy which is very old, has to use modern technologies. Technologies with a time cycle of 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. And we are, in our world, normally operate assets with lifetimes for 50 years, 75 years. Think about bridges and tunnels. 35 years like locomotives, and 15 years from control units. We have managed this. We have managed the advantage of our old assets, our base assets, and we have to combine it with the advantages of the new technologies. And this is the major challenge of each asset-oriented company. And our assets are worth, at the moment, more than 22 billion euros. So it's an enormous amount of money. That's our first problem or first challenge. The second challenge is our staff loves the assets. The loco driver loves the loco. The maintenance worker loves the power station, and so on and so on. Some of our staff is the daughter from, or the son of a former staff, and this was the daughter or the father of former staff. So we have sometimes generations of families in our company, and they have a very strong relationship to our system. And we have to change our mindset. That's a cultural topic to say from the asset to the customer. That's difficult. So topic 1 is old economy and new economy. And topic 2 is change the mindset to customer orientation, but don't forget your experience in the market, because our biggest advantage is to have little accidents. We are a very safe transport mean, and we are proud to such a safe transport mean. But the main question is today, how can we personalize this main transport mean? And the answer is not yet, but we are working on it to customize this main transport mean. And in my contribution, I will give you a little insight in the topics, in the management topics we have to fulfill the future needs of our customers, cargo customers, as passenger services. The way is, and this is a typical way of each company, forward integration. Forward integration means we go to the customer. So we have to add benefits to the customer. And you see on the slide a physical and a virtual thing. Traditionally, a railway company could improve customer benefits within 3 or 4 years. Because we need 3 or 4 years to build a new railway station, to build a new track, and so on. That's the physical expansion. We need a time to purchase a company to get a new market share. But with digitalization, we have the possibility to make also a virtual forward integration, because traditionally our customer's first touch point to our company is the railway station. Now the first touch point is the living room, the office, the workshop, and so on. The topic of seamless mobility from at home, from here, whatever, to point B is one of our hottest topics today. What are so typical goals, high-end goals, which a railway company should have? Satisfies customers clear, competitive costs. The railway system is, due to the overboarding regulations, very expensive and has to compete with aircraft, trucks, ships, and so on. And this is a very hard competition. A very hard competition within Europe, our major market. We should have no accidents. Every railway accident attracts the media. We have very little accidents, but the smallest accident fills newspaper, social media, and so on, and costs money and costs sometimes life. The punctuality, if you're a commuter or the people want to have a reliable transport system, from the commuter to the passenger in the holidays, due to cargo for on-time production. So we have to improve the punctuality, and we have the second best punctuality at the moment of all the European railway companies. But we have to improve this punctuality. I will explain it afterwards why. We need a solid and a weatherproof infrastructure. Winter will come again. Snowy days should be no surprise for railways in Austria. So we have to do also this thing, because the weatherproof infrastructure, detecting avalanches, detecting detecting some other natural disasters with modern sensors, with drones, whatever, is standard at the moment. And from the European goal side here, we must support an emission-free transport. We own 8 hydropower stations which produces green energy for green trains. That's important for sustainable transport system. That are our big goals, and we have to do a lot of work to reach these goals. I have 3 challenges with me. We have 3 big challenges. First challenge slide are the topics. Customer information, first topic. The customers want to have the system state in their pocket. They won't be independent from our information. If we have a delay, they want to have the impact of the delay for their personal journey. That's one important thing. We work on it, that we prognose the time of arrival. It sounds simple for one transport mean. If we have several transport mean, it's not so easy because you have to exchange dynamic data between different operators. And that's a lot of data to manage, to analyze, and so on and so on. The second thing is integrated mobility. From end to end, from door to door, from office to office, and so on. Not only looking at the single transport system of the railway, we have to cooperate with different stakeholders, we have to cooperate with Ubers, other taxi companies, whatever, to fulfill the criteria of end-to-end mobility. That's one of the most important things, especially in the urban-to-urban traffic, also in cargo traffic. And the third thing is automatic train operation. Automatic, not autonomous. Automatic train operation, because automatic train operation is not there for reducing the number of loco drivers. It is there to increase the infrastructure capacity and to increase the punctuality. Because if you manage our operating process in a better way, it's, for example, possible to run, the moment we can run every 90 seconds a train, we can run a train every 60 seconds. So we have an increase in capacity of infrastructure of 1/3. And we invest a lot in infrastructure, more than 2 billion euros a year in infrastructure. So these are the 3 core topics. Challenge 1. Challenge 2 is understanding the system. Everybody thinks it's clear, but ÖBB don't produce dishwashers. Dishwashers could also be complicated, but if you operate a system with highly human interaction, you have to understand what you do on the one side, because this has an effect on the other side. And if we make a failure in the infrastructure operation process, we could damage life. So we have our technologies, our developers, our testers have to understand the system and what is the challenge to bring system knowledge in our staff. And we need 8,000 people, new staff, in the next 5 years. That's an enormous amount of new staff, so we have to manage that knowledge transfer from the present generation to the future generation. Challenge 2. Challenge 3, that's not obvious for you, but for a traditional asset-oriented company, the management must be aware of the new technologies. A typical railway manager is an economist or a civil engineer. In many countries, a politician. But the typical things they should know is how is about building a new tunnel and so on. But the new technology must be understood, because I give you a simple example. If you invest $2 billion, or the 2 billion euros here, in a new tunnel, the complexity of this project is similar to a 200 million investment in software. And only differentiating project with the amount of money you have in the project is not good. You have to use the word complexity. And this will the managers of railway undertakings, or this has the railway undertakings manager to learn. And we have built, therefore, a small competence center. It's called DigiAttack. And this DigiAttack has to give the top management a view about the potential of new technologies. Because they have to understand the impact of blockchain for asset management, for ticketing, and so on, and have to decide, because the managers has the money to run these new possibilities in a service. The present projects we have in this field of interest are, I start with indoor navigation. Indoor navigation is very important to give our passengers orientation, for example, in the railway station to the train. Because increasing the number of signs, more pictograms, that makes no sense. We have to guide our passenger from home to the seat. That's the goal, the one and only goal. And so on and so on. Therefore, is indoor navigation necessary. The IoT lives at ÖBB. If you look at Vienna main station, we have implemented more than 400,000 sensors in this main station, and you have managed this sensor. But we use nowadays this sensor only for monitoring and control of devices. We didn't use the data in other kind of way for maintenance and so on. So 400,000 data points, main station, a typical new track, co-arm, about 200 kilometers, has 2 million data points. We have to extract and we have to manage. The ticket shop, you can join one channel, one distribution channel outside the automat, is one of our biggest software projects to interact in a better form with our customer. Train automation is one of the high sophisticated topics, because it's very complicated and you have a lot of stakeholder. And I will give you a little overview about train automation, because sometimes the people have no right picture between car and train. Road and train. Road, autonomous driving, decentralized technology, routing at the car, because high complex infrastructure, high complex roads. The tracks are not a very complex infrastructure. Track 1, track 2, switch. So you have no possibility to say, I want to turn left and turn right. You have to keep the track. So we have another approach, centralized communication. That's a different, autonomous versus automatic train. But you can mention, why are you so late? Why not ready yet? Because of the regulation. Because of the regulation and technology regulations. We need such a row of files in the year 2007 to implement such a small device in a locomotive. That's reality in the year 2017. But we are working on it. But what's the future? That's for the developers, that's the system architect. At the moment, we manage train control. In reality, more than 500 servers interact together, a lot of databases, foreign databases, to cooperate with our partners, with the other operators, are combined together to get an automatic train operation. And this is our goal, a simple slide. You know, a railway track, you have switch, you have signals, some other stuff. The future is tracks and no other stuff. No signals, no interlocking stations, and so on and so on. Only tracks, catenary if you have electric train, and nothing else. Fully remote control, fully remote interaction between infrastructure, train, and some dispatching, control, or the whatever centers. But we have to fulfill one criteria. If you are familiar with security, or we have to fulfill a so-called SIL4 criteria, a very high standard with very low failure rate, because the people trust our transport system. No accidents means this. Where are we? Left today. Today, in the year 2017, the loco driver get information. Drive 60 kilometers per hour periodically. She get recommendations with SMS. That's our first stage we have proved out. And the dispatcher get auto-routing in a small area, in a railway station. Till 2020, we will have adaptive traction, online tracing for locomotive. On a display, drive 130 kilometers. Then you have no troubles. You must not brake because there's a train before, and so on, for the loco driver. And the dispatcher on the other side will get solutions for simple conflicts. A simple conflict is, you are in Vienna, the loco driver had the problem in Linz, a city few hundred kilometers away. There will be a crossing between trains, and one has to stop. We have algorithms to solve this simple solution process. And 2025, we want to have full automatic train operation with as a so-called autopilot for the locomotive, and solution for all conflicts everywhere, with one exception: crisis or natural disasters. If you have a natural disaster, you have a thunderstorm, or a track is damaged, you have to have manual intervention. That's our plan. 2017 is the left side. Today we have it. 2020 we are working on it, and we will reach the goal. And 2025 is also a social problem, because a lot of discussion also with unions, because they are afraid of few loco drivers, because the loco driver's position will shift. What's also necessary is precise tracking. You have to know where a loco is. That's important. And everything, it's easy, but this thing must also function if a truckie with a jammer is on the road, if there is a thunderstorm, if you are in a tunnel, etc., etc. It's not easy. And we have to have a failure rate of 10⁻⁹. So it's absolute reliable and absolute precise. So we need a kind of military technology here for the trains. And these are our typical challenges to run trains automatically. I hope you get a little impression what are our topics, and I hope you understand why we need developers, testers, analysts, and so on. And we also need the community to solve the railway problems in the year 2017, 2020. I hope you join our company as passenger, as transporter, or I hope you join our company as employee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Ladies and gentlemen, well, round of applause for Johann Pluy. We could do one question if you like. What about the topic real-time information at the ÖBB? Can you give us some deeper insights into that?
At the moment, the real-time information is handled by the infrastructure operator. At the moment, we are designing a so-called real-time information hub, where we discuss to give real-time information to more stakeholders, because we think that other stakeholders outside the railway community could give us some ideas what can we do with real-time information. At the moment, we use real-time information only for train control and for customer information, but there is more. So we open it and we try to get a real-time info hub.
Very cool. Okay, so thank you very much for the wonderful talk.